Hey, this is Bacon Blaster. I'm back with the Pulsar Core FXQ38 forward thermal attachment. I'm going to go over the pieces of the puzzle that it takes to mount this to the front of your dayscope. When you get this unit from the dealer or from Pulsar, it comes with this ocular lens set up to be a thermal handheld. There's a little cam lock right here. You just undo that, and you can remove the ocular lens. It exposes the screen. And this piece comes with the FXQ38. And it goes on to the end of it. In order to do that, you line up this bayonet lug and the Pulsar emblem, and that'll line these pieces up, the little stanchions, in place with the grooves. Press it on there good and tight, and then rotate your cam lock, and it's actually a really good snug tight fit, which is what you want. So that's your first setup in order to mount the FXQ38 onto the front of a dayscope. There's a couple other pieces of the puzzle. One of those being the Pulsar 42mm, 50mm, or 56mm cover ring adapter. If you see, this 42mm cover ring adapter covers scopes with an external diameter, meaning that housing, not the objective lens diameter, but the actual housing around the objective lens, from 47 up to 50mm. So there's a chart that shows you the 42mm covers this range, the 50mm has another range, and then 56mm has another range. The measurement you're concerned with is the outside diameter of the objective side of the scope housing. So not the lens, but the actual metal housing. And I can show you that too. Whenever you order that, it'll come, and this is the main piece you're looking for. This little lens cap cover just comes off and actually mounts the same way that the FXQ is going to mount, using these two pins. This is the DN42. It uses a cam lock, so it has a main tension screw, which is here, and then there is a locking screw to lock that tension screw in place. So you set your tension you want, and then you got to find where it cams over right to keep it in place on the scope itself. So this side the FXQ attaches, there is a spring. It's kind of a spring washer. It's got a little wave to it. So you have to push that in there. Whenever you cam it over, it puts tension on there, and that keeps the FXQ from rattling around. Besides that spring tension, it is a really close fit, so there's really not any play, and these cam pins cam in with the other adapter. What comes with this, there's 4 bushings. They all have different diameter labels on them. There's a 47mm, 48mm, and these are the inside diameters of the bushing, 49mm, and a 50mm. Again, these inside diameters of these bushings relate to the outside diameter of the housing of the objective side of your scope. One thing to be sure whenever you install these is that there is a reduced area of the ring that's going to go towards the inside of the adapter, like so. And you want this split side of the ring of the bushing opposite of the split side of the adapter itself. So those are the multiple pieces of the puzzle. And Pulsar sent me, or excuse me, Sightmark sent me a triple duty 3-9 by 42. A lot of people have been fixated on that 42mm measurement, which is the, let's see if I can do this, which is the diameter of the actual glass in the lens here. What we're concerned with is this diameter, the outer casing of the scope. And we want to put I have a 50mm bushing in here. We want it to be a snug fit, but we don't want it to be overly tight. So you got to be able to get it on there. Slide it all the way down onto the scope. It's hard to do it in the camera. So it slid all the way down to the scope. And then rough alignment is going to be getting these pins parallel with the top of your rail and getting them to look right inside the FXQ. There's a setting on the FXQ to be able to pull up a grid to match up with your crosshair inside your dayscope. Once you've done this, you can put a little mark on your scope and on the adapter in case you ever have to adjust it. Once you slide it on here, you want to adjust with the tension screw and get it to where you can cam it over, but it is snug, because once you're under once you fire, you're going to have some recoil in here, and it's going to want to shift this forward. So you want to make sure this is good and tight. Alright, I have the day scope adapter on my day scope. It's all cam locked in, and I have my locking screw set so my tension doesn't change. On the FXQ, a couple things you want to pay attention to whenever you install it onto the day scope adapter are these slots. They have to line up with the pins on the adapter. You want to make sure the bayonet lug is to the right side of the rifle from the operator position. And it's a good snug fit. Once you can slide it in there a little ways, you got a good counterclockwise turn. It's pretty tight because you're pushing against a spring washer, and then that click you hear is the bayonet actually engaging into the day scope adapter. Whenever I'm using the scope at night, I leave the adapter that goes to the scope on the thermal on the day scope, and I use the cam that's on the thermal because it's a lot easier to take on and off than the day scope adapter is. It doesn't affect the way it mounts. It's actually easier to do this way. It keeps your same alignment. And then if you're going to use the scope in the daytime, the rifle in the daytime, I would remove it from the bayonet lug. It's just a lot harder to do because it's a good tight fit. And then if I'm going to use it as a handheld spotter, I just pop it off that way and then put my ocular lens back on. And the ocular lens can go on in any position, then you just adjust this wherever you want it. So you can see here, the rifle has the adapter that goes to the FXQ38, the adapter that attaches it to the day scope. Change out the ocular lens, put my buttons towards the top, slide it in, lock it on. So once you have these two adapters in place, it's really easy to get the thermal in place in the dark. It's pretty quick because your buttons always go up top. So I hope that clarifies some of the questions about how the FXQ38, FXQ50, any of the FX, the forward attachments mount onto a day scope from Pulsar. If you have any questions, please post them below. I'll do my best to answer. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.